Guys, it's the big one. The second Grand Slam of the year is here, and we're going to be doing a draw preview and prediction video for the WTA side. We're going to pick every single match until we get to our winner, my predicted winner for the tournament. And the draw is out, as you can see on screen. The qualifying hasn't finished yet, but I've looked through the qualifiers and I'll talk about some who could potentially be dangerous. We'll also talk about withdrawals, so people who are not playing, people that unfortunately are not going to be able to make it because of injury, or they've just chosen not to play because of whatever reason. There's some interesting reasons. We'll get into that as well. And then finally, we'll go through every single match, and I'll explain my reasoning behind some of the picks I've gone for as well, and we'll be able to see some of the notable first round matchups. I've briefly had a look at the draw, but not in huge depth. But from what I can tell, Swiatek's section is actually quite tough on paper. Now, she's a big favourite going into this tournament, so it might actually level up the playing field a little bit, which is going to be really interesting. Sabalenka, I don't think, has a great draw, but Rybakina, for once, who normally tends to have a terrible draw, seems to have an okay-ish draw. We'll go into it very, very soon. First of all, let me talk about the qualifiers to potentially watch out for. Final round of qualifying is tomorrow, so Friday. Sarah Irani is one I think we need to look out for. She's, of course, made deep runs at Roland Garros before, making a final. She's very old, though, of course. She's experienced, but she is coming towards the end of her career. So, can she make a deep run? No, but she could be dangerous in a first or second round matchup against whoever she ends up potentially playing. But she's not through yet. She has a final round to play. Eva Lee as well from Germany. She's on the opposite spectrum. She's very young, but has a good game. And I think she enjoys the clay. She's from Germany. And let's see how she gets on, if she can make it through. And I've got Zidansek as my final qualifier to potentially look out for if she makes her way through. In terms of omissions, so notable omissions, there's quite a few, unfortunately. So number one is Jessica Pegula. She's pulled out because of an injury. Well, she's back to 100%, she said, but she's not match fit. So she's just come back. She didn't play a lot of the clay court swing because of injury, which is a massive shame, of course. And yeah, she just said she's not going to be able to play at Roland Garros. And she'll be back for the grass court swing, where I'm sure she will be back to full fitness and she will be missed, no doubt. Simona Halep didn't get a wild card, and I'm not sure whether it's because she's injured or whether she just wasn't given one. Uh, but yeah, I do know that she's injured, so I don't know whether she would have played qualifying or not. But she, would have been a bit disappointed, I think, if she was fit not to get a wild card, given that she is a champion, former Grand Slam champion, that is. Emma Raducanu wasn't given a wild card and chose to not play qualifying. There doesn't seem to be an indication that she's injured, just doesn't fancy it, which is pretty interesting, I must say, especially if she's going to play the Olympics. I don't know if she will play the Olympics. I don't know if she'll qualify for the Olympics as well, because Katie Bolter and Jodie Burrage are in front of her in the rankings, from my understanding. So, yeah, she might struggle to actually make the cut as well. Caroline Wozniacki, she is another player that was looking to make the Olympics. I'm not sure she's going to make it now. She again wasn't given a wild card, and it seemed like she's pretty upset that she wasn't given one. She pulled out. She said she's not going to play qualifying, and yeah, her dad came out and said, pretty poor, like the treatment that she was given. So okay, fair enough, I guess, but a little bit disappointing not to see her grind it out. But then again, she's a former Grand Slam champion, so maybe just thought, I'm probably not going to win Roland Garros. We'll get close, so maybe just concentrate on the rest of the year. Okay, let's get into this juicy draw. So Swiatek will play a lucky loser or qualifier in the first round, so I think we can pick her to win that. And then we've got Bronzetti versus Osaka, and this is not an easy first round match for Osaka. It really isn't. It really isn't an easy first round. I'm going to go with Osaka anyway, and that would set up a Swiatek Osaka second round, which is just unbelievable. Monero is a Spaniard, and she'll have a qualifier or a lucky loser. Then we've got Buzkova and Kudermetova. I mean, that is a ridiculous first round. Buzkova is no pushover. And Kudermetova, I mean, on clay, her weapons are not quite as potent. So on a slow clay court surface, I'm not sure. I'm going to go with Kudermetova, but Buzkova could come out on top. Krejcikova and Golubic. I mean, these. I just feel like the WTA tour, the depth is insane. The depth is insane on the WTA tour, honestly. And just looking at these matchups, and I'm just thinking there's unseeded players that I'm thinking could easily win. Golubic could beat Krejcikova. Krejcikova is not in good form. She really isn't. But we'll go Krejcikova. Potapova, Rakimova, again, like not an easy one. We'll go Potapova. She's been playing some decent tennis recently. Wang and Townsend. I mean, Townsend on clay is, yeah, I mean, she's not as good as she is on a hard court or potentially a grass court, but we'll go with Townsend. Wang hasn't had incredible results recently. Alexandrova Tomova will go Alexandrova. And Collins beat Dollar. Collins has had a fantastic year so far, of course. It's her final year on tour, and it's been a swan song. Arguably her best, well, I would say, not argue, I think it is her best season of her career. And I know that she's made, of course, a Grand Slam final before, but I think this is big. She's won a Masters 1000 tournament. She's won Charleston as well. Yeah, she's playing really well. Trevisan has a lucky loser or qualifier. Vekic Serenko. Vekic should beat Serenko. Serenko just has struggled this year. Kostyuk and Siniakova both seeds and they'll play a qualifier lucky loser. Paquette has a wild card from France and she'll play Schneider. Schneider's been looking quite good. She won I want to say a 125 or 175 recently. And she beat some solid players on the way to winning it. So, yeah, she's got confidence. Krunic has a lucky loser or qualifier. Vondrousova, Masarova, Vondrousova. Gauff has a lucky loser or qualifier as well. Otvank has a qualifier or, again, a lucky loser. Wang, Timofeeva will go Timofeeva. And interestingly, Tomjanovic is back. And she's back on clay. Plays Yastremska. That is another popcorn first round match. Not sure how match fit Tomjanovic is. I know she's been playing some challengers. Yastremska is not the best. She's really not the best on clay. So, I don't know. I don't think either player. I am going to go with Yastremska. What are these matches? What are these matches? Samsonova versus Lynette. Lynette's been playing some good tennis. Samsonova also been playing some good tennis. She's a seed. I'm going to go with Magdalene Lynette to cause the upset. Anisimova and Buxa have a qualifier or lucky loser. Haddad Meir Cochiretto will go with Haddad Meir. I mean, look, she has been a little bit up and down, but I have no idea which way this is going to go. Just because Cochiretto is pretty solid on clay. But Haddad should have enough in the tank, I think, ability-wise to get through. Ostapenko, former Grand Slam champion, former Roland Garros champion, plays Jacqueline Christian. In the first round, go for Ostapenko. An interesting one, Tatiana Maria versus Clara Tolson. That could go either way, to be honest. Don't think Tatiana Maria is necessarily a clay court specialist. Neither is Towson. We'll go for Towson, though. We'll go for youth over experience. Okay. Let me see. Siegman and Kenin. Kenin for me. Caroline Garcia has a qualifier or a lucky loser. Fernandez has a wild card in Jessica Ponce. I mean, look, the crowd is going to be really against her in that match, but I'm sure she'll be able to block it out. The French crowd at Roland Garros are very, very raucous at times. Ruckus, even. Is that even the right word? They're very, they're very excitable, let's say. the French crowd. And yeah, I mean, they're not as bad, I don't think, as like the Australian Open crowd, who is more of a laddie type atmosphere. I think most of the French crowd are there to watch tennis, but they're very invested in watching it. That's for sure. Wang versus Bay, we'll go for Bay. Kalinina, Osorio, that's a really good one. Osorio is pretty good on clay. Kalinina is also good on clay as well. And Kalinina, I'll go Kalinina to win. Good to see Osorio. She has been playing a lot of qualifying at Grand Slams the last couple of years, so good to see that she's seeded. Well, she's ranked high enough to get a main card spot. Jabeur and Vickery. Jabeur should get through the American wild card. Oh no, no, no! Zhang Xinwen has a horrible draw. She's got the wild card of Elise Cornet playing her last ever Roland Garros. She is going to be up for this. She will be chasing every ball. She will be dialed in. This is a horrible draw. Horrible. I'm going to go for Zhang Xinwen, but I tell you what, Cornet, I would not be surprised if Cornet causes the upset. I'm going to go for Korpashvili Kruger and Avanesian to beat Zhu, Castella to beat Blinkova, Kalinskaya, Burrell. Again, not an easy one, is it? I'm going to go with Clara Burrell to cause the upset and beat the seed. And then Bianca Andreescu has probably one of the hardest first round matchups you could have asked for, apart from obviously the seeds, or some of the top seeds, but she's got Sarah Cerebus Tormo, and Cerebus Tormo is a complete wall. She just plays ball after ball, and she's so hard to break down. She loves high, really high top spin ground strokes to try and push you back, and slow depth. And she is one of those proper counter punching players. Andreescu's going to have to be a bit creative to win points against her. So probably not the easiest player to come up against in your comeback. I'm actually going to go for Cerebus Tormo to get the win there. And Dodin and Kayla Dale Dodin. Darius Seville versus Jasmine Paolini. Not an easy one for Paolini, but I think she'll get through it. And what is this? Svitolina versus Pliskova. What? Oh my word. Pliskova's gone so far down the ranking that she's not even seeded anymore, of course. And that means that she's open to facing a seed. And she's got a bad draw because Svitolina is playing pretty well at the moment. So Svitolina will get through that one for me. I think she'll be able to soak up the pace of Pliskova, especially on a slow clay court. Fiona Ferro versus Parry. We'll go for Diane Parry in a all-French affair. Jacquemont versus Bogdan. Bogdan for me. Pavlyuchenkova has a qualified lucky loser. Elise Mertens to beat Carla, and I've got Mladenovic to beat Martic. Yeah, she's got a wild card, Mladenovic. Kerber and Roos will go for Kerber, although clay is not her forte, but that's some okay results recently. Rybakina to beat Minen, and Sakari to beat Gracheva. Pera Hebino. Pera. Begu to get through against the qualifier lucky loser. And then Harriet Dart has Noskova now. I'd love to say as a Brit that Harriet Dart could beat Noskova. She could, but on clay, I think it's a lot harder to justify. Yeah, picking her to win. So I have to go for Noskova. I think also as Harriet Dart, she's been back from injury, or she was injured, I think, for a period. So I wonder how she's going to hold up physically. Azarenka, who's been a surprise package in this clay court swing so far, has Podoroska. Not an easy first round, but not necessarily the hardest. So we'll go Azarenka. Andreeva to beat Bektas for me, and Stearns to get through against qualifier or lucky loser, which, of course, this is me assuming. I don't know who the qualifiers and lucky losers are, but from the qualifiers and lucky losers that I've seen, I don't see anyone making a quarterfinal, semi-final, or final of this slam. So I haven't waited because I don't think it will have any bearing later down or later on even in this bracket as we kind of get into the business end of the tournament. Kasatkina Freck, this is an interesting one. I think Kasatkina should get through okay, though. Keys and Zarazua will go for Keys again. She's been a surprise package on clay. Now has a higher win percentage on clay than hard courts in her career. Crazy. Sharif to beat Wan, Schmidlova and Navarro to get through against their respective qualifiers or lucky losers. Bolter and Badosa. That's a really good first round match. Really good first round match. I think on clay, though, Badosa should have too much. If she holds up physically, Bolter is still very, very inexperienced on clay. I think she's played 1 or 2 matches, if that. So, yeah, not great. And Stevens, Potensaver will have to go for Stevens, I'm going to go for. Erika Andreeva, so the older sister of Mira Andreeva, plays Sabalenka. Sabalenka should get through it, but not an easy first round, I'll tell you that. Swiatek Osaka in the second round matchup. Here we go. I mean, as much as I'd like to say Osaka has a chance, and everyone always has a chance, of course, I think this is the worst surface for her to play Swiatek to have a chance. So Swiatek gets through for me. And then I've got Kudermetova and Monero. We'll go for Kudermetova. Krejcikova, Potapova. I'm going to go for Potapova to beat Krejcikova. I just don't have much faith in Krejcikova lately. She just hasn't really done much. She's not looked good. Form-wise, she's been really, really just abject. I think she's just looked all over the place, in honesty. And it's been pretty sad to see because it was almost after last year when she said, it shouldn't be a big 3, it should be a big 4. And she put herself in with Rybakina and Sabalenka and Swiatek. And since that moment, she's lost to all 3 of them. Hasn't beaten them once, and she's dropped down the rankings. I mean, she's now 24 in terms of seeding. So, yeah, she needs to find a string of results. But I don't have faith to pick her to go further than second round at the moment. Alexandrova to beat Townsend for me, and I'm going to go for. Oh, this is a tough one for Collins. Martina Trevisan at Roland Garros is not an easy proposition. I'm going to go for Collins, but Trevisan could definitely cause their issues. Vekic and Kostyuk, intriguing one. That's a real 50-50, actually. I mean, Kostyuk is the highest seeded player, but I'm going to go for Kostyuk, yeah. Schneider, Siniakova will go for Schneider, and Von Druser to beat Krunic. Gauff to beat Utvank, and Yastremska to beat Timofeeva. Actually, no, Timofeeva to beat Yastremska. Lynette to beat Anisimova on clay. I just think maybe Lynette will have a bit of an advantage and be able to use her array of tools at her disposal. Hadadmir to beat Buxa and Ostapenko to beat Towson. Garcia to beat Kenin. Oh, Kenin has been a bit surprising on clay. I just didn't think she really had the game for it, but she's shown flashes. Caroline Garcia, of course, the surface we know is not suited to her game really. We'll go for Garcia though with the crowd behind her. Fernandez to beat Bay. Oh, and then this is such a tough second round match for Jabeur, who hasn't really looked great. To play Kalinina in the second round, it's a really tough one. I'm not sure if she gets through it. And it's a shame because her Roland Garros results have been, I think, very underwhelming considering how well she is able to play on the surface and has played, during tournaments before Roland Garros. To then not be able to go deep at the main one is a big disappointment, I'm sure. But I'll go for Jabeur. I think Kalinina, though, easy win it. Kopach, Zheng Shuwen will go for Zheng Shuwen. Then Castea to beat Evanesian. And I'm going to go for Burrell to beat Sorribes Tormo. Paulini to beat Dodan. I'm going to go for an upset here. I'm going to go for Diane Parry with the crowd behind her to beat Svitolina. Now, Svitolina will be the favourite, and she might win it easily and prove me wrong, but I just have a feeling that could be an upset. Pavlyuchenkova to beat Bogdan, and Mertens of Mladenovic. Mertens? Rybakina should beat Kerber in the second round. Sakari to beat Pera. Noskova to beat Begu. Azarenka, Mirandreeva. Oh my word. Oh my word! I just think Andreeva might struggle with Azarenka's pace. Kasatkina to beat Stearns, Keys to beat Sharif. I don't know. They're on clay. Yeah, fine. Okay, okay. I'm gonna go Schmidlova to beat Navarro. I'm not convinced about Navarro on clay. And then Badosa Stevens. Wow, what a match that would be. Badosa Stevens. Badosa is fit. And Sabalenka. Sabalenka will play a qualifier, a lucky loser. Fine. Right, third round. Swiatek Kudermetova. I mean, Swiatek's. Can I say something? Osaka second round, then Kudermetova third round. That is not easy. That is not easy at all. Right. I'm going to go for Swiatek. Potapova, Alexandrova. Alexandrova. Collins, Kostyuk, Collins. Vondrousova to beat Schneider. Gauff to beat Timofeeva. Linette to beat Haddad Meyer. It's a bit of a big call, isn't it? Ostapenko to beat Caroline Garcia. Wow, it's a great third round matchup. Jabeur versus Fernandez. Fernandez just hasn't been able to string together results, though. Neither is Jabeur, to be fair. We'll go Jabeur, though. Not sure she even gets past Kalanina in the second round, to be honest, but we'll stick with her for now. Zheng Shenwen, Castello go for Zheng Shenwen. Paulini should beat Burrell. And Pavlyuchenkova parry. We'll go Pavlyuchenkova. Rybakina should beat Mertens. Noskova could beat Sakari, but on clay, I think Sakari's got the upper hand, so Sakari. And Azarenka, I'm looking for Azarenka to beat Kasatkina, which would be an upset because Kasatkina is I think she's very potent, and yeah, she's very potent on clay. Keys to beat Schmidlova, and Sabalenka should beat Badosa. It'll be a tight match. Sabalenka should win it. Two, of course, best friends going at it on the court. Swiatek and Alexandrova. Swiatek. Collins to beat Vondrousova for me. And I know Vondrousova might be able to frustrate her a little bit, but I don't think Collins will. I just feel like she'll be able to just be patient enough to hit through at the right times during the match. Gauff to beat Linette. Ostapenko to beat Jabeur. Paulini to beat Zheng Shenwen. I'm going to go for that. On paper, it's an upset. Rybakina to beat Pavlyuchenkova. Sakura to beat Azarenka. Sabalenka to beat Keys. So that gives us quarterfinals of Swiatek Collins. I think Swiatek will win that. And Coco Gauff Ostapenko. I might go I just if Ostapenko were to win, she'd give Swiatek a really hard match, right, on paper because Swiatek's never beaten her. So I kind of want to see it. So let's go Ostapenko to beat Gauff. Paulini Rybakina is not an easy one, by the way, for Rybakina. Paulini's very good on clay. She's no slouch. But we'll go for Rybakina. And then we'll go for Sabalenka to beat Sakari. So kind of going for the big three and potentially the big four Gauff, but we haven't gone for her. So we've gone for Swiatek Ostapenko, Rybakina Sabalenka. I'm going to go for Swiatek to beat Ostapenko. I'm actually going to go for Rybakina to beat Sabalenka. I just think Sabalenka's had such a good clay court swing. Like, she's made the final of both Madrid and Rome. Can she really make the final of Roland Garros as well? Can you imagine if she made the final of Roland Garros and lost that to Swiatek as well? Like, she must be thinking, damn, I made 3 finals. I could have potentially won all 3 of them, and Swiatek is just too good on clay. I'm gonna go Rybakina. If she's fit, obviously there's doubts about her illness, but she did train with Sabalenka. I think it was yesterday. There was a practice video or practice that she was playing in, and She looked okay from what I could gauge, and I didn't watch all of it. I just watched a clip or two. Swiatek is obviously the big favourite, and I see her getting revenge over Ostapenko, being able to at least close the gap a little bit on the head-to-head. I do think, though, that her draw is really tough. She could lose to Ostapenko, because Ostapenko, of course, is very good on clay. She's won the French Open before. She's won Roland Garros before. And she has a winning head-to-head against Swiatek. Iga's never beaten her. She's got a big game. She clearly disrupts Iga. So it could definitely be a troublesome one. And I do think as well, on this surface, maybe Rybakina is the harder one for Swiatek than Sabalenka, especially given the fact that she's played Sabalenka twice in recent weeks. And the first one was tough, of course. You could argue that Sabalenka probably should have won it. She had 5 match points in Madrid, but it's a very different surface to Roland Garros. To then come into Rome, where it's more similar to Paris, and she won pretty convincingly, and maybe adapted her game as well to Sabalenka. Whereas Rybakina was going toe to toe with Swiatek last year in Rome, and it was one set apiece. It was on serve, and then of course Swiatek had to, had to pull out. But yeah, I'm going to go for. I think Rybakina can take a set off her. I do, and I think she can make it very close. I'm going to go for Swiatek, and yeah, I'm going to go for Swiatek. I'm going to go for Swiatek to get the win, and it might be similar to last year's final against Mukova, where Mukova had a lot of chances. Rybakina is even more established. She's made a Grand Slam final before. She's won a Grand Slam, so yeah, maybe she'll give Swiatek a really tough match, and she could win it. She could. I'm not saying she can't, but I just think the way that Swiatek's playing at the moment, it's really tough to see anyone else win it, despite her having a pretty darn tough draw, in all honesty. So that's my pick. Probably no surprises there. You might say it's boring, but let me know in the comment section, which first round matchups you're looking forward to the most. And also, if you're supporting a specific player, what do you think of their draw? Are you happy? Are you sad? And who do you think is going to win the tournament? And who do you think is going to go deep, or who might be a surprise package? Thanks very much, guys. Stay safe and well. We'll see you on the next video.